welcome to the latest video on how to buy vintage fishing reels. Normally, I'll show you these videos, I actually show you the wrecks before we've done any work on them. So this time, I'm just going to show you some of the ones we've finished. This is a reel that came in, and it's an old JW Young's Pride X, and it's a big 4-inch salmon reel. Now these particular reels are made of zinc cast. It was covered in corrosion when it came in. Did a bit of work here. We've got some paint from Young's and painted it back again, and you can see the ratchet works there. Everything works perfectly, and there's a Slater latch on it, and this is now ready for sale, and it's all been finally sorted out inside. Does need a bit of grease on the cogs there. I haven't done that yet. But we will do soon, don't worry. And that's a beautiful little salmon reel. It's a 4-inch, and the weight of these reels is designed to balance out the slightly heavier vintage rods. You couldn't really use this in a modern carbon rod, it's too heavy. Okay, next we got, this is about 3.5, I think, or 3 3/4. This is a Sharps of Aberdeen. This came in, it had a bit of corrosion on the back here, and we've just touched that up a little bit. But these are so solidly built, you very rarely even get damage to the cage. I can't take that apart, I'm afraid. So the ratchet hasn't been set on this, but it is there, don't worry. But look at it, that's beautiful. I mean, that's probably, I don't know, 50s, 60s, and still a beautiful usable reel. And when we sell it, we've got line already attached to it and that, which is quite nice. Sharps, of course, are a legend. They're an absolute legend. Right, so the next one here is, this is a bit of a cheaper reel. This is an old Daiwa 230. This is in full working order. It's got a little bit of fly line on it. This has a drag. You can change the drag by tightening that or loosening that. But it's nice. It's actually, well, quite finely made. When these came out, people really didn't like Japanese stuff much, and they didn't trust it. Or, well, Daiwa was actually Korean, but stuff from that area of the world. But the Japanese and the Koreans have made a bit of a name for themselves in engineering, you know, with companies like Shimano and so on. And people do now trust Japanese engineering. But the Chinese, you know, they're where the Japanese were back in the 60s and 70s. And if they keep going the way they're going, they're going to be building trusted brands probably within the next 10-20 years, and you'll probably see Chinese stuff that's almost as trusted as, you know, Shimano and companies like that. Right, so this is a very, very old, this is probably from the 40s. This is an Allcox Popular. It could be 40s or 50s. Hardy of Anik made a reel called the Perfect. And the Perfect had like this almost flat surface with very little detail on it. And so a lot of the manufacturers who wanted to cash in on that made a lot of their reels look a little bit like the Hardy Perfect, where essentially it has this kind of flat face. From a distance you can't really tell the difference. But these little Allcox reels are very popular, and that's why it's called the Popular, I guess, because they're very popular. And people still want to buy these, and this is a nice vintage reel, and again it will balance a vintage rod. It probably won't balance a modern carbon rod, or a plastic rod as I call them. So lastly, in this little video, I'm just going to show you this. This is an antique. Hardy of Anik were using zinc cast alloy way back before anyone else even dreamed of it. And of course Hardy are known for that kind of thing. And this is called the Sunbeam, and it's a dry fly reel, and it's an absolute classic. It's a classic design. It's been around for a very long time, and these are very, very sought after by collectors particularly, and people who want to use them. The way that these are designed, the Slater latch piece here stops the reel drum from grating on the base plate, and over a lot of years of wear you do get a bit of a problem with that starting to happen. So this reel has been shimmed out a little bit, and I don't know if I can show you that. I might be able to show you. Let's have a look. And it's now working perfectly again, which is just amazing, really. See, that's been greased properly and oiled, and you can just see the shim. If I can just touch it with my finger there, yeah, you can see it move there. Yeah, that's the shim. But that is still in. This is a testimony to, you know, the quality of Hardy and Hanek. This is the fact that you got a reel that was probably made in the 1910s, 20s, or something like that, which is still, you know, a goer. Really, that's pretty good, isn't it? Don't you think? Well, that's a nice antique, and they are expensive. They will go for a lot of money. So that brings us to the end of this little video. Thanks very much for watching, folks.